Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with our Christmas themed budget deck for you today. And first off, again, I do want to say Merry Christmas, and for those of you who don't celebrate, Happy Holidays. I hope you are enjoying this video as you are watching it throughout this weekend. But in any case, let's go over our deck, which is a fun, semi-flavored deck for the holiday season. So we're looking at basically a Naya enchantments build. We've done, of course, one version of this before where it was a super budget version, and actually the deck still maintains that budget. How much of a budget? Well, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. As you kind of saw from the title, you only need one mythic. But yes, if you look at the sideboard, yes, you will probably want to get some of these rares too. But again, okay, don't click off on the video just yet. For those of you who just want to play this on super budget, put together the main deck, and you only need that one mythic. So I'm glad we got that out of the way. Sorry if I clickbaited you on this, but I just wanted to get that out of the way right now. In any case, what we're doing right now is, again, we're just trying to put together one of our major creatures and try to build it into the biggest, baddest thing that cannot be stopped. But why look at the deck now? Not just, again, for the cards that kind of represent the colors perfectly for the holiday season, but the other main reason we're doing this is thanks to a couple of cards that came out this year. So we got Ethereal Armor from the last Explorer Anthology set. We've got earlier this year Illuminator Virtuoso as another bonus to the deck, and just recently from Brothers War, Draconic Destiny. So some of these cards I wanted to throw in there because I think now we have even better pieces that make a enchantment deck even more powerful than ever on a budget. So let's go over again what we're trying to do with the deck. Starting with our creatures, we have Paradise Root, we have Illuminator Virtuoso, we have Selfless Savior as our main targets to use. Now again, you probably don't want to put anything on Selfless Savior because, as you can see, the dog is basically just here to protect one of our other creatures from getting destroyed by giving it indestructible for a turn. But otherwise, you're going to be loading up on Paradise Druid or Illuminator Virtuoso. Which one you pick honestly depends on what your opponent is trying to do. If your opponent has a lot of removal, you're probably going to want to throw all your enchantments on Paradise Druid. If your opponent is not really a removal heavy deck, Illuminator Virtuoso might be a faster option to get rid of everything. So real quick, as you haven't seen before, I'm going to say it one more time. I love this card. Illuminator Virtuoso just basically has double strike, and every time it becomes a target of a spell, it connive, which means you draw a card, then discard a card. If you discard that non-land card, it's a 1/1/1 counter that is added onto the creature. So this will get extremely powerful very quickly and out of control if your opponent doesn't stop it. However, if they do tend to stop it, then you use Paradise Root, which naturally has hexproof as long as it's untapped. If you have to do it in a pinch, you can also tap it to add 1 mana of any color. But basically, once we throw on our enchantments, these things get powerful. To support that plan, again, as I just mentioned, we have a ton of enchantments. So starting with our new card, Ethereal Armor. Ethereal Armor gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. So basically put this on top of, say, the Paradise Druid, Illuminator Virtuoso. It's redundant because it already has double strike, so it's better off on the Paradise Druid to just make it powerful and just prevent anybody from trying to chump block what we're doing. Otherwise, other cards we're going to have 1s, 2s, and 3s of, such as Glaring Aegis. Basically, it taps a creature that an opponent controls and gives our creature +1/+3. Sentinel's Eyes is fantastic, gives our creature vigilance, and then also you can escape it from the graveyard if we have to recast it later on. Sticky Fingers is a little bit risky because, again, we're only splashing for red in this deck, but if we can get it on a creature early, we can create a bunch of treasures, and if the enchanted creature dies, we get at least to draw a card out of the deal, so it's not a total loss. Speaking of that, a new card also from Brothers War, we have Audacity. This aura basically gives our creature +2/+0 and trample. So it's kind of like old school Rancor, but maybe not as good because, again, when Rancor went away, you basically can get that card back from the graveyard into your hand. As far as Audacity, versus the original card, it's still something good, but it's better than honestly just going straight to the graveyard and giving us no value. Blizzard Brawl honestly is not really part of the enchantment plan, but again, I wanted it for flavor purposes, and let's be real, this is an excellent spot removal card once we have 3 snow permanents on the battlefield. Tamiyo's Safekeeping is just our catch-all spell for protecting everything we do, and it's not only, again, just for our creatures, but also any permanent we have, and the life gain is also helpful in a pinch. Michigo's Reign of Truth is also extremely powerful and technically counts also as a creature. As you see, the Saga basically helps us get +1/+1 until end of turn on one of our creatures for each artifact and or enchantment we control, so this also will trigger off with Sticky Fingers giving us treasures. And then it could flip over into Portrait of Michigo, basically becoming a +1/+1 creature for each artifact and enchantment we control. Really good in the mid to late game. Rune of Sustenance, it's our life gain, helps us draw a card. Season of Growth is going to be what just helps us go through our deck as we keep adding creatures onto the battlefield to scry. And then once we start adding more enchantment auras to our creatures, we could keep drawing cards. So we can go through our whole deck and get everything we need to stop our opponent and make ourselves unstoppable. As I just mentioned earlier, one of the other new additions is Draconic Destiny. This 3-mana enchantment basically gives our creature +1/+1 with flying, haste, and for an additional 1 mana if we want to pay it, it basically gives it the Dragon Breath ability, which is this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When the enchanted creature dies, we basically can bring Draconic Destiny back to our hand, which is why we only need the single copy. Realistically, the only reason why I wanted this card is not only because it's really cool, but also the main reason I wanted this card is because it gives us one thing that our deck also has a problem with. We can't deal with flyers in the main deck. So Draconic Destiny kind of just helps us become more evasive and also can get rid of flyers if we have to. Siona's Captain of the Pylast basically just helps us create some tokens. It helps us dig through our deck to grab the aura that we do need, but however, the extra tokens just not only triggers off Season of Growth to scry, so we can get to what we want better, but also helps us go wide a little bit in case of maybe going tall is not enough to stop our opponent. As far as the land base is concerned, again, we're super budget, so you're only just looking at snows, so 6 snow plains, 3 snow mountains, 4 snow forests, a couple of the tap snowlands, and 4 Cabaretti Courtyard. Cabaretti Courtyard also is honestly for flavor purposes. Come on, for those of you out there maybe who are on holiday or maybe you're going to join a Christmas party, why not throw in Cabaretti Courtyard? I thought that was a kind of a cute add-on. And then finally, as far as your sideboard, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to maintain a completely budget deck, just keep the Draconic Destiny and play this in best of 1, and it's actually pretty good as is. But if you do want to play this in best of 3, this is where you're going to invest the rest of your rares or mythics. Authority of the Consuls is going to be here just to deal with those aggro decks, another Blizzard Brawl in the sideboard, Destiny Spinner is here just to prevent any counterspells from ruining our game plan. Cindervines is also to punish those control decks. Another copy of Tamiyo's Safekeeping. Banishing Light is just our light removal. We only have 2 copies because our deck is focusing on building ourselves up and protecting our stuff versus getting rid of our opponent's stuff. Leyline Sanctity protects our game plan against discard decks that are running rampant out there. Outlaw's Merriment is basically here is mostly just flavor purpose, and let's be real, I kind of saw this because it said Merry in it, you know, that, Merry Christmas. Yeah, no, hopefully you didn't click off in the video at this point. Sky Sovereign console flagship, it's basically Santa's giant sleigh. Same thing, it's here for flavor purposes, so it's not a requirement even in the sideboard. I just wanted to throw it in because I thought, hey, this giant cool sleigh can also provide us not only a big beater if we crew it up, but also has flying, so also it can be a good blocker in a pinch. But otherwise, that is basically the deck for you. Nothing super crazy. Hopefully you guys have some fun with this deck. If you want to put it together, it's super cheap and easy to do if you want to play it in best of 1. But before we continue, if you like any of the content that I do, all I ask for you is please give a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the deck techs, booster pack openings, gameplay, and so much more. Oh, and after we're done with our matches, I'll have some final thoughts on our deck at the end of the video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and fire up the deck that we've just gone over and get started. Okay, everybody, so here we go. We are playing our enchantment deck for the holiday season, and let's see, we got some creatures. I'm gonna keep this because we have 2 ways of protecting our Illuminator Virtuoso. So we're gonna do that. Alright, Courtyard. Sacking. We then look for a white source. Snow-covered plains. Alright, opponent. So what are we fighting? That's another mono red deck. I've had to cut out a lot of these mono red decks because they're getting kind of boring to have to fight. Okay, it looks like it's burned. And it's mono red again. So, in case if anybody's wondering what happened, why is my rank showing good and bad constantly in the same spot, is because I've had to just quit out of so many of these mono red decks. They're not very exciting to fight against because we either get blown out horribly or they're just not enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, I love mono red, but not in this aspect. Alright, so we're going to see, again, if we're going to try to get through our opponent's red stuff here. I would love for us to have a Paradise Root we can actually build upon. This matchup is not that bad. Fighting against mono red is not bad if we can actually build up our stuff appropriately. So that's just something to keep in mind if you play against mono red a lot. Sonona. Okay, here we go. Rune of Sustenance actually helps. I'm going to pass here. Okay, so if we can get another land, I think we're right where we want to be. Illuminator Virtuoso has protection now, and against mono red, life gain screws them over super hard. Our game plan right now is just Illuminator Virtuoso, Rune of Sustenance, protect it with the Selfless Savior, and we mostly have the game. We'll let it go. At 15, just want to know what's coming down. Take those. Oh, okay, so they're actually a mono red devotion deck. Interesting. Opponent, Chandra. Are they going to take down or tick up? I'm guessing taking down.
When people start screaming,
oh, no. They ticked up for mana. Okay, so what are they casting? There's another Fable. No Chain Whirler. Well, that's actually really bad. That screwed us over a little bit there, but that's fine. That's fine. Hold on. How do we want to do this? Actually, Illuminator Virtuoso. We will pass. We need to protect it with Tamiyo's Safekeeping. At the very least, that would get us out of this mess. And also, the little bit of life gain will help us out until we can get to at least a couple more mana. Alright, they exile their top deck. It's just another land. First for 2. Opponent. Right. Doing some little pumping. Enchantment comes down. Pings us. Glorybringer. Wow, haven't seen that in a while. That's a throwback. What do they attack? Okay, so they're attacking with everything. We Tamiyo's Safekeeping now. Connive. We throw away the second Virtuoso. Doesn't do damage to us. We now also have double strikes. That means, let's see, what do we get rid of? Chain Whirler. Okay, there we go. Since they exerted with Glorybringer, that's off the field for a little bit, which is nice for us. Okay, so let's see, how do we do this? Okay. Virtuoso. Connive. We will get rid of Paradise Druid. Triggers. Take a token. Snow-covered plains. Huh. Okay, actually, we need more damage. Audacity. Draw a card. We will throw out Michigo's Reign of Truth. 6/4. Make another token. Selfless Savior. Protects what we have. Let's see. Okay, we can do this. We're going to swing with everything. Does our opponent stop anything? They do not. 13. We go back up to 11. They're down to 5, and we're back up to 17. Glorybringer is still tapped. We have ways of protecting now with Selfless Savior. I think we might do it. Exile the top card. What was it? Strangled. That doesn't get rid of the Virtuoso. Prowess. Down to 1 damage. Oh, if we can untap and get Michigo's Reign of Truth, we're in. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Well, hold on. Fanatic Magwas deals damage to each opponent equal to our devotion to red. So that means we take 7. We're down to 10. Create it. Okay, I see what they're doing here. Well, that hurts. Table of the Mirror Breaker. Prowess again. Okay. Well, that hurt really bad. Make a token, but that's not enough. Yes. Yes. I was like, wait, I'm trying to count in my head. I'm sorry, I didn't sound excited because I was like, wait, let me look at that real quick. Okay, real quick on the battlefield. Wow. I'm just going to say right now, I have no business winning that match, but let's just say Santa came through. That was a Christmas miracle, everyone. I don't know. I think we should have lost that one, but I will take it. All right, everybody, so here we go. We are playing our enchantment deck for the holiday season, and we don't have what we need for Illuminator Virtuoso or any of our other red cards, but we do have Paradise Druid, so that's not too bad. If we have to cast something in a pinch, we can put down Paradise Druid. It just depends on what our opponent's playing. Okay. Okay, well, we got Snow-Covered Plains. That's not too bad. So, I'm going to put down the Virtuoso first. We're going to see what our opponent is trying to do. If we can get red mana, we'd be in a really sweet spot here. Okay, they're playing Elves. they are an elf deck. So, Blizzard Brawl gets rid of that. Connive. We'll get rid of the planes. Sadly, it doesn't really do much for us in terms of anything there. Let's get down Paradise Druid. Now that we know they're playing elves, at least we can start using Paradise Druid as a mana source instead. So they're down to 16. Sticky Fingers now would actually be really sweet to have. Shaman in the pack. Doesn't really do much, so I think it's for 19. Okay, Selfless Savior's not bad. Snow Covered Forest. Sticky Fingers on the Paradise Druid. There we go. Okay, and then Selfless Savior gone. Pumping that up. All right, here we go. Now we're doing it. Dive again. Throw away the planes. Tap that out of the way. All right. Not too bad. Treasure. Make 2 treasures. And then let's... Actually, hold on. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. This is just in case if they have any... If for some reason they have removal. But I'm pretty sure if they're running all elves, they're running no removal in the main deck. Land of more elves. Alright, they're probably now going to try to just dump their whole hand, which is perfect for us. Alright. Ooh, okay. Now we're in a good spot, everybody. Here we go. Draconic Destiny. Connive. Throw away the Virtuoso. Oh, yeah. 5/5. Going right there, and there you go, everybody. Not too bad for that game 1. Not too bad. Alright. Against elves, yeah, we got there. They're playing elves, so the authority of the console is coming in. We need to slow them down big time. Blizzard Brawl to pick off elves. I want to keep Sonona only just because we can have those tokens give us a good advantage. We'll say we probably can get dropped. I guess we'll drop a Tamiyo Safekeeping. Alright, let's do it this way. Alright, so let's see what we got. Okay, well, we don't have any of our actual auras yet, but we do have plenty of creatures to work with, and a Season of Growth can scry through our deck to get us what we need, so I think we'll keep this. It should be fine. Alright, Despair Sentinel, no surprise. Okay, we got Sentinel's Eyes too. Great. Arctic Tree Line tapped. The question now is, do we do Season of Growth first? Do we have time to do that? That's the tricky part here. I think we need to put out the Virtuoso now. We need to make sure we keep a threat against our opponent here. Another Plant Caller. Alright, opponent's going to try to go off here. Marsh, nothing yet. Do they have... I'll let it go. 13, okay. So, let's see. Season of Growth. We need a white source for Sentinel's Eyes. Draw some cards. Alright, we're looking good here. Throw away a Season of Growth. Pump. 3/3. No attacks yet, because our opponent now is going to have to slow themselves down. Circle of Dream. Okay. Our opponent will not swing here, because that means they'll just start losing their lords. We need a way to get around this. We're going to need Audacity. We could put down another Illuminator Virtuoso just as a threat to them. Alright, they go swinging. We'll take it. Authority of the Consoles. A little late, but that's not the worst. So, put that down. That slows down the other elves if we have to. Ethereal Armor. Draw some cards. Alright, here we go. Okay, so we got our Mountain. Throw away Paradise Druid. Ethereal Armor. Let's put down a Paradise Druid. That's mostly going to be just for chump blocking purposes, everyone. Already the Consoles again. We need auras now. We have Vigilance, so now we're going to start swinging. Now that we have more than enough to go over. That means our opponent has to stop us next turn. If they don't stop us, we can't win. 12. 4. Okay. Any other creatures they bring in now just trigger off the Oh, never mind. There we go. Yes. All right. We beat elves, everybody. Looking good. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And there you have it, everybody. That was our holiday-themed Xmas Enchantments deck for this weekend. So my final thoughts I want to give before we finish up this video is the deck definitely has the potential, but the problem now is there's a lot of cards that kind of work against us. Still, I think that if we do put in a little bit more investment to upgrade stuff, this deck actually is extremely powerful. Having said that, if you don't want to invest in it, I would just say stick to this in best of one. You can keep the Draconic Destiny. You can even swap that out if you want to and put in something that's a 2/3 of, and the deck still is going to be very effective as is. The biggest upgrades to the deck actually aren't even any of the rares or anything. Your biggest upgrade is the fact that we got Illuminator Virtuoso as a much better target to add onto auras, and also getting Ethereal Armor does make a big difference for us. Even if you don't want the Draconic Destiny, it's still pretty cool as the deck as is if you just want to go full on budget. However, if you do want to invest a little bit more, your sideboard is probably actually where you might want to go. So again, if you do want to invest, maybe you want to swap out some of the cards here if you don't really care about the flavor of this for this kind of deck, and maybe you might want to go back into a consistent 2-color format just to make this deck a little bit more powerful, but at the same time maintain that consistency. But those are my thoughts again. However, if you do want to keep the deck in its pure form that I have today, again, as always, I leave a link below, and I hope you get the chance to have fun with that for the holiday, whether you celebrate Christmas or any other holiday. But in any case, my other final thing I'm just going to say is I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, I hope you have a fun and wonderful holiday weekend, regardless of whatever you play. But if you do want to take this deck for a spin this weekend, whether you want to invest fully into it because you got the rares and mythics, or even if you just want to play it on a budget and it's full fun flavor themed, I assure you, you will not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone. And just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.